welcome into episode 8 of the Geeks By Night Gamescast. I am one of your hosts, Courtney, and I'm joined by my sexy Nintendo ninja, Lou.
I just spelled Shia LaBeouf's name wrong in the chat. I hope they forgive me. Shia LaBeouf. Whatever.
And if you are watching the video, then you can see that we are joined by a special guest today, Austin.
Hello, hello.
Austin, okay, so I've known you for probably a year, like just random comments on on posts on Facebook, and then we recently started playing some games together, like Destiny and Splatoon. But where would our audience maybe know you from elsewhere?
I'm a co-founder of the R&M podcast. We've been running that for about 2.5 years now. So that's probably like the only place you'd find me. I used to run a mildly successful YouTube channel, but eventually I ended up kind of dropping off of that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, R&M I guess is where I'm from. So
how many episodes are you guys up to on that one?
We just recorded 99 on Tuesday.
That's what I thought.
We're actually doing episode 100 tomorrow night.
Wow. Nice. It's weekly, right?
Yes. This is kind of a rare occasion where we're doing 2 in 1 week. But the only reason we're really doing 2 this week is because Seth and Elijah, my 2 co-hosts, they're at New York Comic Con right now. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be in their hotel room doing it together, and I'm going to be on Skype with our other co-host, Kyle, and we're going to call in and talk to him. So
cool.
They wanted to go on and get that done while they're there. So, but yeah, so.
Where could they find that podcast?
We're everywhere. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean. We have our RSS feed, so you can find us on whatever podcasting app you use as well. Mm-hmm. Just search, I want to say it's Retro and Modern Network is what we're labeled as under iTunes and all those various places. But you can also find us at retroandmodern.net. You can find the podcast there and anything else we do. So,
cool.
Yeah.
All right, so Lou, explain what's happening to our podcast. What's changing? Why do we have a guest and all that?
Okay, so we have figured out through the magic of science and the internet that you get more popular and people listen to you more when you promote things. I know it sounds absolutely crazy. So basically we're doing a little switch up to things, how we're doing business as always. We're trying to add a guest every week. Austin is our first guest, so I guess I'll clap. But he's our first guest, and we're going to be doing more. We're still trying to work out Jess Curry, who is continuously sick and now has an office without internet. So that's awful. But we're getting in touch with other people. If you write video games, if you make video game content, if you are a Twitch streamer and you want to be on the podcast, we actually really want to have you on. So let us know. You can do that by contacting us at contact@geeksbynight.com, which we'll put in the chat, hopefully. And yeah, we'll get in touch with you, and we'll try to get you on. We want people who are trying to promote their own projects, and we kind of do a dual promotion thing. Other than that, we're doing a lot more on Twitter lately. If you see, we're going to be tweeting out a lot from Courtney and I. If it's tagged with a C, Courtney did it. If it's tagged with an L, a loser did it, so it's probably me.
So I'm going to start tweeting some really stupid stuff and tagging it with L. I mean...
Let's see.
Just kidding.
Yeah, and then what else? Oh, we changed up the Twitch schedule. So instead of doing every day during the weekdays at this time, we're now doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central.
No, that's backwards. That's backwards.
5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central?
No, 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern. That's how time works.
I don't understand.
That is how time works. So I will be streaming on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at that time slot, 5:30 Central Standard Time. And then, at what time are you going to be streaming on those 3 days?
I got this one. 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, and 6 o'clock Pacific. Yeah, 6 Pacific. Don't care about those Mountaineers. So yeah, that's basically what we're doing. We're changing things up. It's already been working, this whole promoting thing. Like, we've gotten Twitter growth out the ass in the past day. We had Team Meat tweet us out, and we got a bunch of Twitch followers who are probably not here, but we like our fan base. So we like you guys here. We like the Tanster. We like Princess. We like... Oh, and if you're listening to the audio, come hang out with us.
Yeah.
We do this every time, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central.
There you go.
I'm going to get time right eventually. Yeah, so if you want or if you can, we do that every Thursday. We're not switching that around. We want to keep that same audience. So yeah, that's all the news.
Okay. So, and as usual, all of the links for where you can find the podcast are going to be included in the description. So if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on iTunes or anything like that and you want to find out all the other links, they are all down below. So please like and subscribe everywhere that we have if you are a fan, if you like what we're doing, and please share with any friends who you think might be interested as well. All right. So what have you guys been playing recently?
I've been going through the PlayStation Plus list. There's been a lot of great games on there.
Yeah.
I was saying I played Super Meat Boy yesterday, and thanks for everyone who showed up and watched. Those were, it was a lot of fun, actually. It's a lot harder than my Mario games. But besides that, I tried playing Broken Age. Don't like it.
Don't like Broken Age, really?
Not a fan. I think I gotta put more time into it because I went from Super Meat Boy, which is like high octane, action, to click on a knife and then cut yourself out of a cake kind of thing. But it wasn't my cup of tea, and that might just be. Oh, and I'm gonna go play Battlefront after this.
Oh yeah, I have to do that too. Before we continue, the Mountaineer talk is going on in the chat still, in the Twitch chat.
I'm glad we finally made that a thing.
I know.
They asked, are you saying Mountain Time people aren't real human? Yes, that's what we're saying. Mountain Time people are not real human.
I was like, they aren't. And then he was like, shots fired. It's a shame nobody in the Mountaineer Time has internet or you would be in trouble. Oh, I love our Twitch chat. It's so funny. Funny.
Fancy feasting. Kudos to you.
Austin, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a few games here and there. I still been playing a lot of Metal Gear Solid 5. Now that Metal Gear Online's released, I've been trying that a little bit. And to be honest, I can't figure out if I like it or not. I really like Metal Gear, of course. That's my game of the year so far. But the online, I've never played Metal Gear Online before. I used to be a huge fan of SOCOM, and that's what people kind of compared Metal Gear Online to me before. And I don't know. It's different, I guess, is the best way to put it. I need to put some more time into it and see, if I want to pour tons of hours into it or if it's just something that's I'm not interested in. But I've been playing a little bit of that, and I did play a lot of the Battlefront beta today, which it's phenomenal. I wasn't exactly sure what to expect going into it. I've always been a big fan of DICE and pretty much all their games that they do, especially Battlefield. But there were just a lot of changes that they were making with this game, and so I wasn't exactly positive if I wanted to get it or not. But after playing the beta, I'm absolutely buying it day one.
Awesome.
I mean, it's awesome. It's
nice.
So good.
I'm so excited.
That's what the Destiny beta did to me.
Yeah. And I'm still kind of disappointed there isn't a story mode, but for me, Battlefront's always been about the multiplayer. So,
me too.
I'm excited. But besides that, I guess the other big game I was playing this week was Persona 4 Dancing All Night.
Did you beat it in like 2 hours?
No, it took me a while. I actually got the platinum for it, but it took me, I want to say, 16, 17 hours to get the platinum.
To get the platinum? Holy fuck.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of time at all.
No. The story mode was good. Like, the story itself was good, but it has that same problem Arena does, where it's just story, dance for 5 minutes, 2 hours of story, dance for 5 minutes, and so it was...
That's what I hear, is it's the most non-dancing dancing game.
Yeah. I still really liked it, because I love Persona 4 and I love rhythm games, but story mode was kind of weak.
Right.
But no, that's really it. Oh, and I guess final game. Sorry, I know I'm taking up all you guys' time, but
no, you're not taking up any time. We got all night.
I bought Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer last week. So
do you like it?
Some of that. Yeah, it's kind of what I expected. I wasn't gonna buy it at first, but then I was like, you know what? I love Animal Crossing. It's one of my favorite Nintendo franchises.
I get that because I just bought Chibi Robo Ziplash.
Yeah.
And I know it's an awful game. It's getting like awful scores, but I want to support Chibi Robo, and they said it's going to be the last game if it doesn't do well, and I also collect Amiibo, so that really kind of helps the decision.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Chibi Robo too, but I'm staying away from that. So, but no, I'm really liking it. It got some mixed reviews, but I'm glad I bought it in the end. I actually have right here with me a bunch of these Animal Crossing cards. I bought like 3 packs when I bought the game, and I have 6 more on the way. So I've spent like $60 on cards.
Wow.
And yeah,
that's like.
So do you collect Amiibo at all?
Casually. I buy the ones I can. I don't necessarily line up outside stores. The only time I did
that's me.
was for the 8-Bit Mario Amiibo. I did that.
Right.
But
that's actually pretty plentiful.
Yeah, which was disappointing because I kind of wasted my time. But but no.
How about you, Courtney? What have you been playing?
I have been playing a lot of Destiny.
And Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Last week I finished up Mad Max, and or I was getting close to finishing up Mad Max, and Josh, who was in the chat, he was talking about how he just rebought Destiny: The Taken King so that he could play with one of his real life buddies, and I was just like, oh, that's cool. I'll buy it whenever I have some money, and I happen to just have $50 lying around extra that I didn't plan on, and I was like, damn it. No, I'm super tempted to get Destiny again. And sure enough, within the 12 hours of thinking that, I purchased it, and I started downloading it, and I've been playing it, doing dailies and stuff for the past several days, just here and there whenever I get time. And so
do you have the Taken King, or you just have vanilla Destiny?
I have the brand new $60 version with all the DLC and stuff. So I've just been playing the Crucible a lot with Josh and Austin here. And I did the first 3 or 4 story missions for the first DLC pack, whatever that one was called, The Dark Below.
Oh, that one's The Dark Below.
Yeah. Did the first few missions for that, but I haven't continued that since because I hadn't had a whole lot of time.
Right.
But
you just gotta jump into that to the Taken King story.
Yeah.
So you gotta push your way through all the bad story and get to the good one.
Yeah.
The Dark Below was so bad. Because I just did the same thing. I bought the $60 pack, and I know they played vanilla.
It's interesting how they integrated it, though.
Yeah.
Because you probably experienced that, right? Where it was, instead of being at the end of the campaign, it was like somewhere in the middle after you did the sword mission. It unlocked it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There was something I wanted to say. I totally forget now.
And then, so that's basically all I have been playing. But I just got an email from Gamefly saying they shipped me Uncharted Nathan Drake collection. I'm like, yes! I'm going to be playing Uncharted again! I'm so excited. I love that series. So, yeah. So I'll be playing that hopefully this weekend, if not, then next week.
I really like that series, too. I didn't like the demo. I tried it.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Strange.
Yeah, that's really strange.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it was just it was old PlayStation 3 controls, and I can't wait to play the PlayStation 4 version. But I'm taking up time. Let's go into the news.
All right, let's do that. Okay, so what's first on the news, Lou?
First on the news, according to GameSpot, Ubisoft has officially announced Far Cry Primal, a new entry to the first-person shooter series that takes place in the Savage Stone Age. It will be released on February 23rd, holy shit, for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, followed by a PC release in March. Described as a full-fledged single-player experience, Far Cry Primal is set in 10,000 BC at a time when massive beasts like woolly mammoths and saber-toothed tiger ruled the earth. As Takar, I think it's Takar, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
A hunter and last surviving member of the hunting group, players will arrive in an area called Oros with the singular goal of survival. Here's a quote from Ubisoft. They will meet a cast of memorable characters who will help them push back and tame the dangers of the wild. Players will journey as the first players will journey as the first human to tame the wilderness and rise above extinction. The results of that's a video. We just copy and paste some of this stuff. Along the way, they will have to craft weapons and tools, partly from the bones of slain beasts, hunt for food, master fire, fend off fierce predators, and face off against other tribes to conquer Oros. In the reveal trailer, you can watch it on YouTube. The player is seen bringing down a woolly mammoth using spears and arrows alongside other members of a hunting party before a saber-toothed tiger pounces. Later on, members of a rival tribe can be seen attacking the player who look lost in a dense forest area. Far Cry Primal creative director Jean-Christophe Gouillat has said he believes the Stone Age is the perfect setting for the game. Far Cry, this is a quote, Far Cry usually puts you at the edge of the known world in a beautiful, lawless, and savage frontier. The Stone Age is, in a way, the very first frontier for humankind. It's the time when humans put a stick in the ground and claimed land for their own, the time when we started climbing the food chain. That came with conflict against other humans, of course, but also against nature itself. Far Cry Primal is being developed by Ubisoft Montreal in collaboration with Ubisoft Toronto, Ubisoft Shanghai Studio, and Ubisoft Kiev Studio. The company has released a developer diary offering behind-the-scenes look. Far Cry 4, the last numbered series, outperformed expectations for Ubisoft, which said interest in the game was the strongest franchise in the franchise history.
See, all that all of that was useless for the story.
Yeah. No, it's good to know. So I have a different opinion. I read a great opinion on Forbes. I want to hear what you guys think about this.
About this? Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. Honestly, Ubisoft has some really good franchises, and they run them into the ground. And this changes up the typical Far Cry setting or way they go about the game, because it's always, as at least recently, the previous two have been modern time. Like, I don't know. It's different, and that's what I like about it. Is it's a different take on a popular franchise.
Right. It's very adventurous for Ubisoft to do. I was almost surprised.
Almost like Blood Dragon. Blood Dragon was a huge difference, and that's cool. It's really cool to see that kind of stuff happen.
I am a really big fan of Far Cry, specifically 3 and 4. I didn't care for 2 that much.
Same.
Unpopular opinion.
That's
but
the same with me.
I haven't played 1, so I don't really know. But 3 and 4 are, like, honestly 2 of my favorite games of all time. I platinumed both of them, and so seeing this announcement, like, this is something that I didn't necessarily know I wanted, but now I want really bad. Like, this is this is awesome. Like, I'm super excited for this. It's kind of similar to, I guess, what Sony's doing with Horizon, just more like no technology, just completely Stone Age, which I like. I'm super excited for it. Although I will say, with it coming out in February, I don't necessarily know that I believe that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's actually segueing into the next question. How comfortable, or how do we feel about this February launch?
Well, that's the same day as 2 other games, isn't it? That's the same day as Mirror's Edge and Deus Ex, I believe.
They're both trying to be Dying Light.
Wow. Yeah.
That's a ridiculous
So,
day.
I read a Forbes article, and I didn't really think about this at first blush, but the Forbes article was... by the way, Forbes is fantastic for video game news.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they are now almost my go-to on every story. They're so well written. And I think they're the first, like, really mainstream place to really be covering. Anyway, this guy was like, I'm really worried about Far Cry. And I was like, really? I didn't get that. And he said, think about it. What we've seen from the demo is practically, this is a year out of Far Cry 3, or Far Cry 4. And it might just be a reskin of everything. Because if you think you got saber-toothed tigers, just a reskin of tigers. You have woolly mammoths, just a reskin of elephants. It could just be like a lazy port that they did in a year. So I'm hoping that's not the case. Hell, they could get away with not even doing English. They could do like grunting for the entire solo campaign and put subtitles at the bottom. But yeah, I think that's a good perspective. I would be a lot happier about this game if it was coming out in 2 years. But I'm not going to be too down on it. I'm going to wait and see what the reviews say, and I'm going to play it then.
It's a year and like a fourth after a Far Cry 4, so it's not like it's 6 months after it was released. One thing I will say about that is that every game in any franchise like this uses the same engine and reskins things. Like, that's how games are made. That's why you build an engine. And so I have no fear whatsoever in the whole reskinning thing. Like, that makes it easier for them to focus on other things, honestly. If they want a good story or if they want good animations or something like that, they can add that by reskinning everything. So I think that's a really good thing. But I don't think that it will be releasing in February. I think it's going to miss that date.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way. Not with the gameplay they've shown off, which I don't even know if that was really gameplay. I don't know if they really said if it was CGI or gameplay or not. But yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, Fallout 4 was announced in June, and it's coming out next month.
Yeah,
so.
But there's a big difference between Bethesda and Ubisoft.
Yeah, you can tell like the last game that they made was years ago. Like, 4 or 5 years? Skyrim?
Yeah.
If we're talking the last game that specific studio was into.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting, too, because this was announced and is assumed to be released before The Division. And The Division was announced, 2 years ago? And it's like, we're just going to put this game out in 4 months. Don't worry, guys. It's really, really weird. Yeah, I imagine it's going to slip. If anything, it'll probably slip into summer, and it'll be our big June game that everybody will get excited about this year, May or June. Like we've had The Witcher and Batman last year, and a few games in the previous years that were big, which I think would be awesome, because I think Far Cry would be a really, really good summer game.
Yeah, because really all it is just going in and playing. You don't really care about the story. You don't really care. It's just sitting down and just killing things for 2 hours, because why not?
The gameplay is superb.
Yeah, just setting woolly mammoths on fire and stuff.
Oh, that's going to be fun. Really exciting.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to be talking about this later in the threesome, and we'll be doing that. But let's move on to the next news.
All right. Story number 2, per Game Revolution. The current build of Star Wars Battlefront runs at 900p on PS4. Some gamers are surprised that it hasn't hit the magic 1080p mark that most other AAA titles are managing on the platform. But that's a better situation than in the case of the Xbox One, which runs at 720p, resulting in blurry edges and unsatisfactory image quality. To make matters worse, Xbox One gamers have complained about rubber banding and disconnection issues. The network-oriented problems are atypical of Xbox Online gaming. It's almost as if the Xbox version, which will have to compete with a multi-million-dollar PlayStation marketing campaign that pushes a Star Wars PS4 bundle, was deliberately not given its rightful attention due to the allure of Sony's marketing agreement. That was a long-ass sentence.
That was. I don't like the writing stuff.
Yeah. These numbers are exactly the same as what Battlefield 4 offered on both platforms 2 years ago. Back then, the PS4 version didn't quite deliver 1080p, but had better ambient
occlusion?
I can't read right now. I'm so sorry. A lot of technical terms. I'm just going to skip over that. The Xbox One version apparently is much shittier than the PlayStation 4 version. There is one solution to all this. PC. If you've seen an image or a GIF of the Star Wars Battlefront beta that has impressed you, it's likely to have been taken from the PC version that supports up to 1440p resolution and higher settings. It is without a doubt the ultimate version of the game. This was written by PC Master Race author. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, So, what do you think about all this?
I'm not a stickler for graphics.
Yeah.
I don't care too much if it's 720 up-res to 1080, yada yada yada. I do care about performance issues. So hopefully this is just because it is a beta, and you never are really sure whether it's one of those like, oh well, we're gonna let everyone play the game kind of beta, and that way you want to buy it, or if it's one where like, hey, we really need to test out how this works on a global basis so we could check for technical difficulties and whatnot. Hopefully it's one of those.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the problems that Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 had at launch with their online servers. I don't know if you guys remember that at all, where people just like were unable to play, and when they were able to play, there was like a ridiculous amount of lag.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping that this will result in that not happening with Battlefront. So.
Yeah. And you've actually already played the beta, right?
Yeah.
What have you played it on?
PS4.
And what did you think about it?
I mean, graphically, I thought it was fantastic. Like, honestly, one of the best looking next gen games I've seen so far.
So 900p didn't stand out?
No. I don't. I'm the same. I don't really care if it's 720, 900, 1080. I mean, as long as it, like Lou said, as long as it runs fine, as long as performance wise it's smooth.
Yep.
Like that's what I worry about more.
Yep.
And like I can't see the difference between 900p and 1080. It still looks phenomenal.
Agreed.
So
yeah, I'm of the same opinion about the P's as I am about frames per second. I don't care if it's 30, I don't care if it's 60, I don't care if it's 720 or 1080. If it looks good and runs good, then that's all that matters, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so this doesn't bother me whatsoever. It's more gasoline to the console war fire, you know? Like, it's just making more and more people angry on the internet.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of flame war stuff, but whatever.
Yep. All right, let's move on. Story number 3.
Story number 3, according to a Microsoft press release, this is going to have a lot of flowery language. Today, they say, we are proud to announce that Microsoft has acquired Havok, the leading provider of 3D physics from Intel. As we welcome Havok to the Microsoft family, we will continue to work with developers to create great games, great gaming experiences, and continue to license Havok's development tools to partners. We believe that Havok is a fantastic addition to Microsoft's existing tools and platform components for developers, including DirectX 12, Visual Studio, and Microsoft Azure. Havok is an amazing technology supplier in the games industry and the leading real-time physics creator. We saw an opportunity to acquire Havok to deliver great experience to our fans. Throughout the company's history, they've partnered with Activision, EA, Ubisoft, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, and many others to create more than 600 games, including Halo, Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, Destiny, Dark Souls, and The Elder Scrolls.
Jesus.
Dark Souls and The Elder Scrolls.
They also created Jesus' physics. Just saying.
Right. Microsoft's acquisition of Havok continues our tradition of empowering developers by providing them with the tools to unleash their creativity to the world. We will continue to innovate for the benefit of development partners. Part of the innovation will include building the most complete cloud service. Still talking about that cloud, which just started to show through games like Crackdown 3. Havok shares Microsoft's vision for empowering people to create worlds and experiences that have never been seen before, and we look forward to sharing more of these visions in the future.
Yeah, you brought up a really good point there. They keep harping on the whole cloud thing, and not only that, is they are directly tying it to Crackdown 3 every time they mention it. Yeah. If Crackdown 3 is a bust, you know, like, oh man, because they are putting a lot of marketing effort into doing that.
Right, but from everything I've heard from people who played it, they say great things, like it's amazing what you're able to do.
I don't know of a whole lot of people who've played it, but I know a whole lot of people who've said they've seen it, and it sounds amazing. It looks amazing so far. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Havok is an incredible engine and has been used in so many games. I remember just about every game, you know, for the past decade, you boot it up and Havok is on the screen. Like, I could see the logo in my head. It's seen it that many fucking times. That's right. Crazy.
Yeah. I don't know whether this is anything to get worried about because I'm a worrywart. You know, they've had Minecraft and they've been good at licensing that all out. I'm worried, possibly, but my guess is that Havoc will make them more money if it's being used on every platform compared to if it's on a Microsoft exclusive.
Yeah, they've already.
I love how they put in there though that about the cloud. They said like, what was it exactly? Part of the innovation will include building the most complete cloud service, which we've just started to show. So like they basically acknowledged like, oh yeah, we said it, but we didn't really use it, which is funny because during Titanfall, all they were talking about was the cloud.
Yeah.
Savage in the chat said Crackdown 3, more like Cloud Down 3. Ooh, burn. I don't know. I thought it was funny. I thought it was good. I had to mention it.
Spit and fire.
Austin, what do you think?
No, I just, like you said, this has obviously been used in so many games. Like, I was playing a game just the other day that uses Havoc. I can't remember what it is,
well,
but
Destiny. Destiny's one of them.
Was it Destiny?
Destiny uses it. Yep.
Yeah,
Destiny. Yeah, so that would
great game.
That would be it. There are so many games that use it, and I'm sure it's like you said. I doubt that they're just going to keep this to themselves and their own studios.
They're not.
I'm sure
They've already announced.
Oh, okay.
They're licensing it.
Yeah, I'm sure that was their idea. Their idea was to buy it and then make as much money as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I compare it almost directly to Sony and Blu-ray, and how Microsoft, Xbox has to pay a little bit to Sony every single time they make an Xbox One because it uses a Blu-ray drive.
Yeah.
And now this is going to be the same thing for Havoc. Anytime Sony uses that, any game that's going to be on a Sony platform, they're going to have to pay Microsoft a little bit for it.
Yeah.
So it's a business practice now that's becoming more and more common. You don't just keep everything to yourself. You have to share in order to make profit because the market share isn't. It's not just like it has to be. Everybody has to share in order for it to keep moving forward and keep getting better.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Though I think we had this. I don't know if we had this discussion or just remember, but there were a lot of rumors, and there's always a lot of rumors about Microsoft buying, I think Intel or AMD. I forget.
Oh, AMD. It was AMD, I believe.
Right. So a lot of. I think PlayStation uses AMD chips, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something that I think is going to continue to be brought up because that conversation comes up every once in a while. But they're smart enough to know not to kill PlayStation 4 in the process when they can make a buttload of money.
And these companies are so big, and their profits are. While they are huge, they're dwindling every time they come up with a new console and new things like that. And in order to make your profit go higher, you get more profit as you buy the people who make the stuff for your consoles and your games. It's cheaper if you already own them in the long run. And so it's a very good market strategy, a very good business strategy for each of these companies to do things like that. So
right.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, let's move on. Story number 4 is from Dual Shockers. I remember doing this last year, so this is a cool story to see it return. The PlayStation Store has a special offer in place for PSN users and buyers from October 6th to November 3rd. If you spend $100 using the PSN wallet during the aforementioned dates, you will receive $15 in credit for use on PSN. The code for the PSN credit must be redeemed by December 15th. The code will be sent out on or before November 17th via a cross-media bar message on PS3 or system notification on PS4 and PS Vita, or by email account used to set up your account sign-in ID. So, if you plan on buying all your games digitally this next 2 months, or actually I don't think you can do pre-orders. I think it has to be games that are currently out. So over the next month, you'll be able to get $15 back for every one of them. Or not every one of them, but every 2, basically. 1 and 2/3. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I like promotions like this.
I have nothing I'm gonna buy.
Me either.
Yeah.
I like it. I always never wait on my games.
It's cool. I think it's really odd that pre-orders don't work. I think that's kind of a missed opportunity to kind of pull some more people into that. But maybe that was part of their logic as well. So.
That was last year. It may not be the case this year. They may be doing pre-orders. I'll look into it. But I know they didn't do it last year because that's what pissed off a lot of people. And I agree, Austin. Yeah. That would convince a lot more people to do it. If you could pre-order all the games coming up in November, because November is a huge month, and I don't know why you wouldn't be able, or why you wouldn't want to do this.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's cool. Like you said, I like when they do these kind of things. But for me, there's just nothing really that will add up to $100 worth of digital spending for me this month. So
yep.
I'm trying to look what's coming out in October that we can put in this.
Well,
yeah, Assassin's Creed. Someone put
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Tales of Hysteria.
All right.
Dragon Quest Heroes.
Dragon Quest Heroes.
It's Call of Duty.
No, that's the next month.
It's first week in November.
Yeah, Dragon Quest Heroes, Minecraft Story Mode, Talos Principle,
Uncharted Trilogy.
Wasteland 2.
Yep.
Dragon Ball Z. No, that's 3DS. Primal
5?
Carnage, Extinction. That's a dinosaur game, right? Maybe. Tales of Zestiria.
Yep.
We might have said that. I think we did.
The Witcher expansion pack.
Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition. Oh my god.
Anyway, so there's a lot of games coming out. If you're gonna get some cash back, and if you're already planning on buying them, why not go digital in this case? You know, get a little bit of money
and there's
back.
always the option to just not pre-order them and buy them as soon as they release.
Yeah,
and then that adds to it. But
yep.
Right.
Alrighty, let's move on.
Next story. According to MCV, not sure what that is. Cyberpunk 2077, the next game from the Witcher developer CD Projekt Red, is the biggest title the studio has ever made. The sci-fi flavoring RPG was originally announced back in 2012, but the Polish outlet has remained quiet on specificities. There we go. On the project since. Now it has been revealed that the title will be even grander in scale than the third and final entry in the developer's sprawling fantasy series, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Cyberpunk, this is a quote from them, Cyberpunk is far bigger than anything else CD Projekt Red has done before, visual effect artist Jose Teixeira told MCV.
I think it's Teixeira.
Far bigger. Whatever. Should have a more easy. He should have an easier name.
We are really roughing it tonight with reading.
We are. Just English in general, not good. All right, we're really stepping into the unknown in terms of complexity and size and problems we encounter. The Witcher 3 became the fastest selling. We don't need to read any of that. There's a dog in the background.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, it's going to be the biggest scale among other CD Projekt Red games.
Which, if you've played The Witcher 3, you'll know it is freaking enormous. Like, my God, that game is so big. The world is so big. And I'm so excited for this because they learned a lot with how to tell a good story in an open world, a huge open world. And if they use everything they learned there in this game, it's gonna be really fucking awesome. Super excited for it.
I've never, honestly, I don't think I've ever played any of their games. I really want to play The Witcher 3, but I have no way to play 1 and 2. Eventually I am going to play 3 and just research the story for 1 and 2, but...
that's the way to go.
Yeah, I actually started reading the Witcher series, the books...
I got it right here.
They're very
about
good.
A week ago. Yeah. I started, what am I reading? Last Wish, I think, is the first one.
Yeah, the short stories.
Yeah, and so I've been reading that, and... eventually, once I get through all the books, I'm going to research 1 and 2 and play 3. But I know, I've heard that Witcher 3 is, like, freaking humongous. Like,
yep.
Several people have told me it's the largest video game they've ever played, and I can see why. But I'm excited for 2077, although I don't know a whole lot about it. I know it's based off of, like, a old board game or something, isn't it? I'm not positive.
I honestly don't remember. Yeah, it's an upcoming action role-playing game based on the Cyberpunk series of tabletop role-playing games.
Yeah. So I know nothing about them, but I just know that seeing them go from The Witcher and kind of the lore of that series into this, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what comes out of it and definitely play it. So.
Yep.
There's a lot of Witcher news. We're just not going into that. But yeah, I think they released a patch with 13 pages of patch notes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. So I still have yet to play it. Kind of like I played a little bit at the beginning and really loved it, but it was the day before the Taken King came out, so I just went straight into that. But Yeah, I can't wait to pick it up. Once they're done, like, updating everything, I'm going to go and play, like, the best version of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I speaking of the Witcher 3 and everything, I pre-ordered the expansion pack a few weeks ago, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but if you pre-order it, you're able to get a code and actually order a physical copy of a Gwent deck, which Gwent is the game,
pretty awesome.
Card game in it. And so
I was great at that.
As soon as I saw that you could do that, I immediately pre-ordered, submitted my code, and ordered the cards. So like sometime whenever they're supposed to ship out, they're coming here. So my first like actual game memorabilia that I bought is going to be a Gwent deck. I'm like, yes, because I fucking loved Gwent. That is, oh my god, I can't wait until it's like a standalone game on like phones and stuff. Oh, so good, so good.
Right.
Yeah, I think they must have done that. I didn't realize that, but I want to say in Europe they did some kind of deal where you could buy a physical copy of the DLC, or maybe it was a physical copy of the game plus the DLC, and it came with the Gwent deck.
Yeah, it is.
So that must have been what they did here to counter that.
I'm just going to say I'll kick Courtney's ass in Gwent, because he never picked up Hearthstone, even though he said he was going to.
Dude, I am very good at Gwent. Very good. I mastered and I destroyed the tournament you play in, and it's really, really fucking difficult. But that's besides the point. I love Gwent. Love it so much. Let's move on. Story number 6 is from the PlayStation blog. This is news that we expected. We've basically more or less called it for the past few weeks. Since the launch of the PlayStation 4, we have been thrilled with the amount of gamers jumping into the world of PlayStation for the first time. If you haven't made the jump yet and you're starting early on your holiday wish list, I have good news. We're dropping the price of the PlayStation 4 system in the US and Canada. Starting tomorrow, October 9th, you'll be able to pick up a PS4 starting at a new price of $349.99 US dollars and $429.99 Canadian bucks. I don't know what they're called up there. Our goal at PlayStation has always been to provide the best gameplay experiences at the best value, and we feel this new compelling price will open the doors even more gamers that have yet to purchase the system. Awesome news. I love price competition. I love parity in the industry. So this is good news.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about it on our podcast this past weekend. I don't really know that they necessarily needed it here because of how well the PlayStation 4 is still selling.
Yep.
When they announced this at TGS, I kind of suspected that like this was going to stay in Japan for quite some time, only because it's just not selling over there.
Yeah.
And they brought it over here, which is awesome because now it's directly fighting the Xbox One, because Xbox One is $350 as well. So I think it's really cool because competition is always great. So
yep.
Totally.
Talking about the price drop in Japan, it actually did push the sales in Japan a little bit. Just today
went into the 50,000. Right?
Just today, the PS4 crossed 1.8 million in Japan.
Wow.
So that was a big news for them.
Right.
Yeah, this is like you said, they didn't need it, because they've been so ahead of the game. They've been destroying Xbox basically every single month. They're pushing further and further away. I think this comes at a really good time because
Absolutely.
of the common theme that everybody keeps pushing is that PlayStation has no games. It has a shitload of games, and it has a lot of games coming out. But it's just that everybody keeps saying that, though. And so the fact that they're dropping the price right now, right at the beginning of the holiday season, I think is just one more way that they're just kind of counteracting that. Because they were going to drop the price eventually anyways. It's already been on the market for going to be 2 years in almost a month and 2 weeks from now. So It's about time. It was due for it.
Yeah. Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's
I've
quiet.
been playing with this.
There you go. You're good.
There we go. Perfect. Anyway, I was part of that whole group that said Team PlayStation doesn't have any games. I've changed my mind since. I think what this is, we can't argue that Xbox One doesn't have the stronger fall. I think this is a way for PlayStation to change the optics a little bit. Sure, Xbox One might have the stronger fall lineup, But we still have a really great lineup, and now we have the lowest price, and we're the best-selling one, so you should really buy us. And, yeah, it's all business strategy, and it's good. And Phil Spencer knew it was going to happen.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I think that was an older story.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago.
Right. He can predict anything. All right, so
moving on
to the next one. All right, according to Xbox One UK, the new Xbox One Experience update is rolling out to a small group of participants in initial waves today. The update is a major update that contains many fixes and some UI tweaks. I think I went on here, and I think they're doing different things in UK. In UK, it's like manually, it's automatically doing it, or you can go in manually, and everyone can get it. In the US, I just opted in. Yeah. You have to be part of the preview program and all that stuff. But if you are in the preview program, you could officially start opting in and start getting it. And it's a pretty big chunk of an install size, but it looks so much better. So they have some of the stuff, some of the new experiences you can see. 12-person party chat garnering over... well, I won't go into the flavor text. But 12-person party chat. Party text chat adds more communication options. Streamlined game DVR experience. New animated avatars. Updated menu for quick access to common actions. Access new settings in the guide, and just overall simple UI, because the UI on Xbox One is a piece of garbage.
Oh, go ahead, Courtney.
I was just going to say, I've heard that the new UI is awesome.
Yeah,
I don't doubt that.
I know a lot of people have said that the UI has just always been really bad on Xbox One, so I'm interested to see what visually this changes, and I guess menu-wise as well. But I was just going to say, regarding the 12-person party chat, I don't know if you guys have ever been in a party with 8 people before.
Yeah.
Like, it is impossible to get a word out, and I don't know why you would want to be in a party with 12 people.
The only way to do that, the only way I could see that ever being beneficial is people who are just really competitive, and they have, like, special call-outs and nicknames and things like that, where they, Bravo, Team Bravo go here, things like that.
Right.
But if
it's
you're
more just shorthand.
Yeah, if you're just 11 friends and you in a chat, like, just talking it up, like, that is just going to get too crazy.
Yeah.
Way too crazy. Mm-hmm. Not for me. It's hard enough to have a podcast with 3 people and not talk over each other. Can you imagine not being able to see each other's faces and playing a competitive game together, all in the same chat? Oh, man.
No thanks.
Yeah, exactly. No thanks. I will not be participating. But we did talk about the 12-person party chat last week a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
So moving on?
Yeah, let's move on. According to The Verge, all right, this was a story about the new HoloLens VR demo, which was really interesting. It was a guy standing in a room, or a simulated room, supposed to be a room, and he was shooting alien things, like machine weird things coming out of the wall. It was really interesting as for what it actually looked like. But the story reads, and I don't think this was actually from The Verge where the story came from. I forgot to type where it came from. During an event held earlier this week dedicated to its devices, Microsoft introduced an exploration for mixed reality gaming for its HoloLens headset named Project X-Ray. The game isn't an actual prototype for a commercial title as much as an exploration of a possibility of mixed reality gaming using holograms, but it's actually quite impressive on its own. Anyways, you can watch the video.
If you want to go in the video, I just put it, or at least the article, in the chat. So if you're here on the live stream, then go check the chat and don't close out of the live stream because we need your views. But you can open them at the same time and look how cool it looks. It looks cool.
Story continues. Incidentally, the application for the development edition of HoloLens is now available for those who would like to try it out early. It will be shipped at $3,000 in the first quarter of 2016. It'll be interesting to see how lower Microsoft will be able to push that price for consumers, but we'll have to wait quite a bit longer for that. Okay, so a few things about the price first. At first, I was like most of the internet, and it was like, $3,000, holy fuck, I'm never buying that. And then I realized that to get a dev kit of anything, it's a lot more expensive because you have that programming into it to where you can design games on it, and you could go into the system settings and all that stuff that they don't want consumers to be able to do, which is why it's marked up so much. And you're going to be making games to make money off of it and stuff like that, or making apps and things like that. So then I started seeing all these posts about, holy fuck, it's $3,000 all over the internet, and I'm like, you guys are stupid. Like, you're not even thinking about it. And I was like, but just a few minutes ago, I was thinking about it like that too. So thought I would get that out there.
Yeah, 1 second. Loud in here. Someone else go.
The other thing I was going to say is, after watching the demonstration, as cool as it is, it looked like it was like a Nintendo 64 game. Like, those fucking aliens or robots or whatever were coming out of the wall looked like ass. Like, they looked really bad, which doesn't surprise me really, because this is a new technology and they're starting to work with it and things like that, so it's going to get better with time. And especially if this isn't even a real game and it was just a prototype to show it off. I don't know. I watched it and I laughed. I was like, is this a 90s commercial? Like, what is this?
I never had the chance to watch it before the podcast. I meant to do it and then I got sidetracked or something. But I did watch during their E3 conference. I watched them show it off. They did the Minecraft thing.
Yep.
And I thought that was pretty cool. It was definitely some really interesting technology, but I don't know necessarily that is ready. I mean, it clearly isn't, because there's just a lot. I know they said there's only like a small little view piece, and like you said, I guess you're saying the aliens look like garbage and whatever else. Clearly, it's not ready. So
yeah,
I'm interested to see what happens with it. But personally, I'm more interested in VR than holograms at this point. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think that it's interesting. It looks cool.
Yeah.
It's something great to show off. I wouldn't play that game ever. Like, that's like the 3DS. Everyone here has 3DSs, maybe. So yeah, it's like that VR game on 3DS. Super impressive. You play it that first time, you want to show everyone it. I've never went back and touched it since I bought it.
I've never played it.
The one with the cards, or the one where you have to like spin around and shoot things?
Both.
Yeah.
Did you guys play the augmented reality game in Watch Dogs, or whatever it was called? There were those little side quest things you could do.
Still haven't played Watch Dogs. I'm waiting for it to go on PlayStation Plus. It'll happen.
Is it the one where you have to do the races or whatever? Is it that one?
No, that's one of the side quest things. But this one was like, you would shoot aliens. Aliens would appear just all over, and you would be shooting them with like this laser gun thing, and it just reminded me almost exactly of that demo that's a part of this story. It's just like, wow, that's directly from Watch Dogs. And so, I mean, it could be fun. We'll see.
Yeah,
if a game like that ever comes out.
Right. All right, last story. According to DualShockers, in no surprising news to Xbox fans, Halo 5 Guardians, the system's biggest exclusive game to date, has officially gone gold. Development has been officially completed, and the game is ready to be sold now, just before its October 27th release date. A blog from the Halo Waypoint has revealed details of a multiplayer patch that is due on launch, featuring map data for Warzone and Arena modes. The patch will go live as the game launches, so fans with a digital copy can have their consoles automatically install it, and those with physical copies will be immediately prompted. This is the culmination of an incredible 3-year journey for our team, they say. Together, we set out to accomplish an ambitious vision and deliver a Halo game built from the ground up for the Xbox One. Now, as we near the release of the game on October 27th, we couldn't be more excited to share the results with you, the fans. Halo games have always been...
You're getting into fluff now.
We don't have to read the rest?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all
big news.
No one wants to hear fluff.
It's gone gold, which isn't surprising. What are we? We're 3 weeks away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, not crazy news, but still good news. I'm really excited for it. The multiplayer looked awesome. MOBA style.
The last Halo game I played was Reach, and I didn't really like it.
You didn't like Reach?
It was the story mode was okay, but the multiplayer was so bad. It was so unbalanced. I couldn't get into it. 1 and 2 I played all the way through, but like past that, 3, 4 I haven't played.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm not a Halo fan. I've just never really had an Xbox. You know, I had a 360 for a little while, but not long enough to really get into a long list of games. So one of these days, though, hopefully around Christmas time, I'm hoping to get an Xbox One, and I definitely want to get the Master Chief Collection and Halo 5 because this game looks awesome.
Yeah, it does.
It looks so good. The Warzone mode specifically and the multiplayer looks so much fun. So,
all right, that it?
That's it.
All right, let's move on to listener questions. Okay, so we still have a few questions left from our email. Question number 1 comes from Nutria. It asks, do you think Nintendo will leave the support for Wii U next year? If so, what is your opinion about it? So what do you think, Nintendo Ninja? Are they going to stop supporting the Wii U next year?
Absolutely. They said that they won't. You know what? That's the thing, is that they came out and they said, I think in July, oh, we will continue to support the Wii U when the NX comes out. And if you have to make that announcement, you are not going to continue to support the Wii U when the NX comes out.
If Nintendo has always dropped the last console whenever they release a new one. Like, just hard drop it.
Yeah. I mean, look at what they did with the DS when that came out, and they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna release the DS, and it's gonna be a simultaneous console with the GBA, and that didn't happen.
Nope,
so.
That did not.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a similar situation with the Wii, where the Wii kind of, I don't want to say died, but the big releases stopped coming in like a year and a half before the Wii U released. And
then no big releases came for Wii U.
Yeah, and then that happened.
They stopped supporting the Wii and the Wii U simultaneously when the Wii U was released.
So, yeah, I do think that they're obviously prepping for the NX. I don't know. I think at this point, you know, they're only really supporting the Wii U for the hardcore fans, because that's pretty much the only people that own a Wii U at this point. I think the Wii U is kind of a lost hope as far as attracting new customers, at least in my opinion. I'm sure it's still selling, but nothing major.
Still selling in Japan. Generally the highest selling console.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's doing reasonably, but I think there comes a time where they obviously have to switch over, and I think by the end of 2016, there's no way. I mean, what else could they have, honestly?
Yeah, I mean, and this is still all assuming that the NX is an actual console too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I think Nintendo's ready to give up on the Wii U, and I think with Iwata out now, you know, I think it's inevitable that they're going to be moving on. I don't think they want to waste any more time losing money on the Wii U.
No.
Because that's all it is at this point.
Yeah.
It's just a sinkhole for cash for them.
Yep.
Except Splatoon. That's doing well.
Yeah.
They could probably just go into the amiibo market, and that'd be fine.
Yeah, just make toys. Like Nintendo used to do.
Toy company.
All right. Another question, another one from our email, which you can send emails at contact@geeksbynight.com if you have any questions for future episodes of the podcast. This question comes from Tunde, one of our faithful listeners. He asks, what's your favorite thing about Metal Gear Solid 5? Let's see. Lou hasn't played it yet, so Austin and I will get to answer this. My favorite thing about Metal Gear Solid 5. I love the openness to the mission structure. The more or less how you can complete a mission in 100 different ways. You know, you could go in Guns A-Blazing, you can go in super stealthy, and you can also do Guns A-Blazing and super stealthy from basically any direction around a base and stuff like you could take out every single enemy stealthily if you want. You could put them all to sleep. You could drag them around. You know, you could bring in your companion to kill them or put them to sleep. There are just so many different ways that almost every single mission you do is going to be different than how your buddies did it. So you'll all have stories about how you completed so and so mission, and somebody will be like, "Man, I fucking hated that one. I was stuck on it for 2 hours." Somebody else will be like, "Oh, I walked in and did it in like 10 minutes. I didn't run into anybody. Like I didn't have a problem." It's so cool the way that's set up.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, the world itself just feels really alive. Like, I know outside of the occasional cars going by while you're on trails and whatnot, like, there aren't really many soldiers just walking around. But, like, when you approach the bases and stuff and you just see everybody there and just kind of running through your head, like, how am I going to tackle this? What am I going to do here? It's just awesome. I love everything about the game, honestly.
Yeah, it's really good.
People complained about the story. I thought the story was really good in the game, especially the ending, which was good.
I see. Okay, so on the ending, or not on the ending, on the story complaints, what I think happened is the people who didn't like the story did way too many side ops or whatever in between doing story missions. And so that would put too much time in between actual cutscenes and things like that. And those may have been the people who don't like doing that kind of thing and were sucked into doing or something. Because I did a few side ops throughout the story, but I mostly did story mission after story mission after story mission. And so I liked the story, and I was able to keep up with it. I knew what was going on.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, it's a weird complaint because coming off of Metal Gear Solid 4, where like people were saying that there was just too much story, I think Kojima was kind of combating that in a way, like in the sense of he was making it more gameplay focused, which I'm completely fine with. Like, honestly, the game Metal Gear Solid is my favorite series of all time, and honestly, this is my favorite Metal Gear game, and I love the gameplay, and that's what really made this game for me. Like, is honestly just the gameplay.
Yeah.
So.
I remember what I wanted to plug before. It's kind of relevant to this.
Okay. What?
Okay.
So this Monday, we did something called... Because if you are in my camp, I've never really played a Metal Gear game. I played Metal Gear Solid 1 last year and already forgot the story practically. But if you're in that group, I'm doing something on Mondays in my normal streaming time called Movie Mondays, where we just go and watch the cutscenes of video games. And we're starting with Metal Gear Solid because it's just nonsense. And so it's a mix of me having, 5 or 10 people in the Twitch chat just laughing about some of the crazy shit they get away with in the 90s. Some racist whatnot that Kojima just throws in there. But anyway, if you cannot take part in this kind of question and answer session like me, because you haven't played and you don't know and you want to catch up with Metal Gear Solid, come watch on Monday with me. 9 o'clock Eastern, some other time for other times.
No time in the Mountaineer time.
9 o'clock Eastern, figure it out.
Yeah, you do the math.
If you don't.
All right, we've got some questions from the stream. Lou, what was the first question?
We're doing it out of order.
Okay.
But fucking Savage, CN Savage, says, what was the first game you ever played?
Good question. I would probably have to say Super Mario Bros. 1? Maybe? Probably 1. Original Nintendo.
Okay, like the NES one.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Classic.
So that would be just Mario Bros., right? Not Super Mario Bros. Or would it? I don't fucking remember. There's way too many Mario games.
The original... Yeah, it would be Super Mario Brothers.
Okay, it was.
That's the first one.
Yeah. You're right. Because it went Super Mario Bros. And then Super Mario World after that, the next set of games.
Yeah.
For me, I actually started playing games totally by chance because we won a Pizza Hut contest or my dad won a Pizza Hut contest when like I was 2 and I was in a body cast for some reason or another, and he got a Game Boy. So my first game ever was Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins. It's a really good game.
Yeah.
Couldn't beat it. Always beat the pigs, though. That were the only people I could beat. How about you, Austin?
I'm the young kid, so mine was actually Super Mario 64.
Ooh,
was my first game. It took me a while to figure that out. I couldn't figure out if it was Mario 64 or Super Mario. What was the one? Oh, Super Mario Deluxe and Game Boy Color. Those are the very first two games I remember playing, but then eventually I figured out that the 64 was my first system, not the Game Boy Color. And so, because I got it when I was 3, 4. So, yeah, Mario 64. And I just realized that all of our first video games are from the Mario franchise.
Yeah. That's see, and that's so common. That is a really common thing to ask anybody from like 16, 18, somewhere in there, up until like 30s and 40s. A lot of people played Mario first, and which goes back to why Nintendo is so important to everybody.
Yeah,
it started all of us, man.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
All right, so next question. We got one from Tanster.
Okay.
Tanner. Jeff. Whatever you want to call him. The infamous Tanster. What game are you most looking forward to? Now, this doesn't say in fall. It doesn't say. What game in general are you most looking forward to?
That's a good question. Most looking forward to for me is going to be Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm really looking forward to that.
Nice. All right. Mine is a little weird.
Okay. Your answer is always a little weird.
A little weird. Yeah, it's not. See, I'm already excited about Fallout 4, and I know I'm going to love it and whatnot. I kind of get more excited about things that I don't know what to think about it yet. So the most exciting game, and what I'm looking most forward to, is Yokai Watch.
Oh,
because I think I'm right in the middle. Like, I love Pokemon, but I don't know if I'm gonna be like, oh, fuck this because it's just trying to be Pokemon, or if I'm gonna be like, this is the best thing since Pokemon. So I love that kind of indecision, and I'm looking forward to that like crazy.
It looks
I'm very
really good.
excited for Yokai Watch. I think Pokemon, at least for me, has kind of been getting stale. Like, I still buy them when they come out just because I still love the series, but I'm just not, like, when they announce a new Pokemon game, I'm usually not as excited for them as I used to be. And so, yeah, I'm very excited for Yokai Watch, because obviously a lot of people are, like, saying that it's basically the Pokemon killer in Japan. Like, Pokemon stuff used to be everywhere over there, and now it's all Yokai Watch stuff. And so I'm excited. I'm very excited for that game.
And it's coming at a really, really good time, too, thinking about it, because last year's Pokemon game was a remake of an old game, and then this year, no Pokemon game. And so it's just like, this is perfect for a new franchise to start over here in America, and could take America by storm, could take the West by storm and become the new Pokemon. It has everything laid out for it. Now we'll see if it happens.
For me, though, personally, I'm really excited for, I'll say my runner-up, because I won't spend too much time on it, but Mass Effect Andromeda, I'm really excited for it, because I absolutely love the Mass Effect series. By far my favorite series last gen. But I had a hard time deciding over that. Then I realized that one game that's very important to me still has not released, and that's Persona 5. And I cannot wait for that game. I absolutely love Persona. And I'm so excited for that. Like, aside from Metal Gear, which, I had been waiting for so long, Metal Gear 5, that was always kind of my second most anticipated game, and so I'm still very much so looking forward to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of really, really good games coming out, and oh man, we can come up with a huge list. Okay.
Yeah. It's a great time to be a gamer.
Yeah.
So another question comes from Kayuza. Anyways, why does Austin look so sexy? I don't know, Austin, explain. Why are you so sexy?
How do you do it?
I don't know. I was born this way.
My mom does my hair. I don't really have much of it.
My mom does my hair.
Go home. I don't want to waste money going to some barber. Thinks they can touch my hair.
It's what all those years of playing Metal Gear does. Makes you sexy.
There you go. Oh, another question from Princess Sailor Moon. Do you think you're better than Tanner at Batman games? Probably not. I suck at Batman games. I enjoy them, but I'm not very good at them. Oh gosh, that was
yeah,
funny.
I didn't even beat the last one, and so no, I do not think so.
You do not.
Sorry, what was the question? Because I stood up for a second.
Do you think you're better than Tanner at Batman games?
No point of reference. Are you just better than him?
Yeah, I am.
All right. Okay, so that's going to wrap up the listener questions section. So thank you to everybody who submitted questions. And remember, you can submit questions in the future by emailing us at contact@geeksbynight.com or showing up to the Twitch chat, twitch.tv/geeksbynight, while we're streaming it every Thursday night. All right, so let's move into the Geeks by Night threesome. Which is especially funny this week because we have 3 of us. Ah!
No, Austin was so sexy.
It was foreplay for this. That's what it was. Okay, so set us up here, Lou.
All right. So the news broke earlier this week, and we talked about it before. Far Cry has gone primal with a new prehistoric setting. What other game series would benefit with the primal treatment, changing their setting to something more reminiscent of the Flintstones? Okay. So yeah, that was really flowery. So we're gonna go through. We have 3 each of what we think, or we tried to have 3 each. If you have an idea of something that a game series that should or could go prehistoric, throw it in the chat. We'll read it out.
And we posted this on Facebook and stuff, and so we got a bunch of community answers that we're going to go through after we get done with ours also, which there's some pretty good ones. Okay, do you want to go? Who wants to go first, second, and third? We didn't talk about
this. First. I posed the question.
Okay.
All right. So my first answer is the Pokemon series. Why? Now, I'm not talking about prehistoric in our world. I'm saying prehistoric in their world. Because at some point, Pokemon had to be domesticated. And I want to see that epic story of the first child who ever domesticated a Pokemon and took on both the world and the Pokemon. And that is why we have Pokemon civilization the way it is.
Interesting. All right, Austin, do you want to go second?
Sure. Honestly, all my answers are just like really, they don't make any sense, but I was kind of struggling to come up with some. So the first one I put here is The Legend of Zelda, and I can't really explain why. He has a sword, so I guess he could make his own sword. I don't know. I have no idea, but it would be interesting.
Yeah, we briefly, a little bit of inside baseball here. We talked about this before the podcast, that this threesome is pretty hard to come up with good reasons for all of these answers, because it's a really random application to add to a game, like make it look or make it do something. I don't know. Really weird. Yeah. So one of mine was actually Pokemon, but since Lou already chose that one, I'll go different. My number 3 will be the Dark Cloud series. That's a JRPG from the early 2000s. It was a dungeon crawler where you just attack things, and you would get these like orbs that had pieces of the city, and you would go back and you would basically rebuild the city however you wanted it. And it was a really cool story, and I think that would be really cool to do with dinosaurs and stuff. Fighting dinosaurs in dungeons and coming back and rebuilding your village of tribal people.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna go through a quick round of community ones.
Okay.
Tanster, the infamous Tanster, says Fallout Primal. Let's see. CN Savage, fucking Savage, says Just Cause.
Just Cause.
Tanster, again, The Last of Us Primal. And Jake says The Order 1886 BC.
That's good. I like that one.
All right, so I'm going to go into my number 2.
Okay.
Don't Starve. Downloadable title.
That'd be cool.
Courtney loves that Don't Starve. It's already practically a prehistoric game to begin with. You just go out there, you don't starve, you got to build your fire, you got to chop the wood, you got to build your small ox community thing. I don't know how you play the game. I was never... But I could just see them going from that dark aesthetic to something with... something with more prehistoric things.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I like that one. All right, Austin, what's your next one?
My second one is Dying Light, and substitute any other zombie game here. Because the idea of a prehistoric zombie game sounded really interesting. Again, I don't.
So would they be dinosaurs that are zombies? Dead dinosaurs come back to life to eat your brains?
Yeah, sure.
So they're not only scary because they're dinosaurs, but they're doubly scary because they're dinosaurs and zombies.
Yeah.
I like it. That'd be some really creepy shit. It'd be like, what is it? Dino Crisis back in the day.
Yeah.
Where they're all in dark corridors and stuff, but the fucking zombie dinosaurs are even scarier, creepier, and they like lurk around looking for you. And yeah, I like it. My number 2 would be Final Fantasy because I thought, why the hell not? They've had like high fantasy, Renaissance-y, Middle Ages kind. Let's go all the way fucking back where they're using clubs and stuff, rocks and things like that to fight against dinosaurs. And yeah, it's a good one.
Right. All right, I'm going to go back to some community answers real quick.
Okay.
Now, these are via Facebook. Mark C. says Assassin's Creed. Even though the first one was really set back as far as it makes sense for the series to go, unless they go to Assassin's Creed precursor kind of game. I was saying, I think, not too stupid, because they have Adam and Eve. Like, that's already canon. So you can go back as far as you want. The unofficial assassins, but assassins. Actually, I think that was the most popular answer.
Yeah. I think it makes the most sense.
It does.
Yeah, also Kylie Boomer says Assassin's Creed, fuck it, I want to see the first assassin get the middle finger cut off by a mammoth or something.
That's awesome.
Brandon Wilson says The Sims. That's a good idea.
That's a really good one, yeah.
Someone should have snatched that up.
Build him a cave.
Yeah. Then Sean Cole Burns, Watch Dogs. You just watch the dogs.
Watch dogs. Let's watch dogs.
Doggies.
Yeah.
And Monty Keegan says Tomb Raider, perhaps, but it doesn't really need that treatment. I just prefer to see dinosaurs again. All right, so I'm going to go into my number 3, Evolve.
Ooh.
Now, we kind of saw the whole, people against monsters, and the monsters were essentially just giant, dinosaurs at times. What if they just took all of that and it was just a bunch of cavemen hunting woolly mammoths or something? Or, I don't know what the other version of that would be. Maybe giant saber-toothed tigers. You can't do dinosaurs.
Yeah, I actually think that's really applicable. That's a really good way to do, or a good game format for this, is to have, because, one man didn't ever take down... Well, I guess I can't say for sure, but you wouldn't expect that one man would take down a mammoth, a woolly mammoth by himself. You'd expect it to be a tribe, a group of hunters or something like that. And so that would be really cool.
Yeah.
It'd basically be like Monster Hunter, but no monsters, just big animals. Wait, there's a fucking name for it. What were they called? The big mammals.
Wait, woolly mammoths?
No, just big mammals. They're like the bigger form of every animal back then.
I have no clue.
There's a name for that.
I ain't no history major.
I feel bad. Anyways, let's continue.
For me, my last one, I was tempted to put Monster Hunter, but then I kind of realized like that kind of already is.
Yeah.
In a way. So I ended up, I just decided to choose some random freaking game and see how that turns out. So I said Ace Attorney. So I'd like to see
people grunting.
Some cavemen having a trial over land or random items that they can't explain. So
that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I figured it out, guys. It's megafauna. That was the big animals back in the day. Yeah, that's a good one. That's
if you say so.
I don't know how it would work, but it's a good one. It's an interesting one.
Wait, now I gotta listen to the song. Sorry, we're gonna play it a little bit.
What song?
The Ace Attorney song.
Oh, okay.
You never played the game.
No.
Oh, you need to. So good.
All right.
It's so good. I am a lawyer.
My final one is going to be similar to my last one, and it's going to be the Tales series. Tales series is my favorite series in the world, and it's a JRPG, and it's just like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's send us back to fight dinosaurs and stuff like that, and have a really epic story, a love story mixed into it, and be all super cool and talesy. So yeah, that's about it.
All right.
Simple as it gets.
All right, so I'm going to finish off on the community ones. This is a little bit longer, but we're just going to react to each one. All right. Muhammad Yusuf, our dear Muhammad, says, GTA or Red Dead? P.S. I want a Far Cry Vita game. Hell yeah. I'd love Far Cry Vita.
GTA or Red Dead?
Don't know how it would work, but I'll take it. Owen Palmer says, honestly, to me it feels like, and this is more of a reaction, he says, they saw Horizon Zero Dawn's popularity at E3 and took the idea. I don't see why they went the Primal route, but I'd love to see another Turok.
Yeah.
Turok was great.
I highly disagree with the first part of his opinion because that's
no
way it's possible.
That's not how development works.
Yeah, it's not possible.
But Turok is great. Danny O'Neill says Elder Scrolls. Cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That's a good one.
Can you imagine going Primal and having magic and stuff? It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. And just, the different types of animals, because we were all sick of fighting bears and... I don't know what else is in I just remember bears kicking my ass. Jamie Carter says Gran Turismo with Flintstone cars. Sindas Caesar, I'm guessing that. I definitely murdered that.
Yeah.
He says Devil May Cry in the Stone Age. And Virgil and Dante's father or mother as the main character.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Ahmed says TE. Prehistoric zombie game. Oh, he says prehistoric zombie game. That's his name. PE.
Yeah, that's
so we talk prehistoric zombie game. That's a good idea.
Okay.
Vincent, this one's an interesting one. He says Batman Primal. He gave an explanation too, because kind of out of nowhere, but that's what he says. He says, in case you didn't know, a one-time Batman Bruce Wayne version was killed and replaced by Dick Grayson for a few years. Although it turns out Batman wasn't dead, he was merely unstuck in the time due to being hit by Grayseid's Omega beams. There was then a mini-series showing his journey to the present day, starting at prehistoric times. It could be one game set in the time period, or like Spider-Man, Shattered Dimensions type with multiple time periods.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that existed. That's actually that's interesting. Mm-hmm. Christopher says Saints Row, a whole city gets sucked up in a time machine, or other such nonsense. On top of rival games, you also have to deal with dinosaurs.
That's so a cool. Good explanation for that.
Right.
Well, and that series is crazy enough as is. Like, it makes sense for something like that to happen.
That could totally happen. I could absolutely see that being the next one. Let's see. It's Air McLaren. This is we're going into kind of funny forums. People says Farming Simulator. Makes sense. Agent Trav, the WWE games, just a bunch of superstar cavemen beating the holy hell out of each other with clubs in a granite ring.
Nice.
All Polo says I'd rather see new games. To be honest, I don't like a series that much that I want to see different imitations of it. But let's say GTA, a funny take on caveman society. And Nab Knight says, this may be a stretch, but how about The Legend of Zelda? I can see Link being sent back in time, Link to the past, into a primal era to vanquish more ancient evils and to ensure the safety of an earlier Hyrule. That's
good explanation for that, too.
Yeah.
I like it. There were some really creative ones. Obviously, there's some really, really far out, stupid ones, like all of mine.
Some of them being ours.
Yeah. Like all of mine. Because we came up.
What we learned is people are way more creative than us.
Well, we came up with this threesome idea with at least 24 or 48 hours ahead of time to think about it, and then I forgot to think about it until like 10 minutes before the podcast. And I was like, "Damn it! I wanted to have some good answers, and I forgot."
Right.
Oh well.
So can I make the fake segment that we still haven't put a thing to yet?
Let's do that.
Okay. We don't have like a stock one, but all right. So we're going to make this new segment. Hopefully we'll do something, but it's going to be called Tip of the Hat. We already have 8-Bit Idiot where we just rail somebody for doing something really stupid, but we're going to have the polar opposite of that and have Tip of the Hat for someone doing something admirable. It's, of course, a kind of tip of the hat, wag of the finger parody of the Colbert Show. And the first tip of the hat this week and ever is going to be Stephen Colbert. Did a great job.
Yep.
Because we've had a lot of bad, talk show hosts lately. Mm-hmm. Who was the person? Jimmy Kimmel?
Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
Just fucking doing an awful job and doing an even worse job trying to apologize for it. Just making fun of video games and nerds. Stephen Colbert really stepping up and embracing the geek. Like, he doesn't understand it. You can tell he doesn't understand it, but he is being so respectful and accommodating. And I think it's going a long way for him, because who did he have on lately? He had PewDiePie.
Yeah, he had PewDiePie, and then he also had what's his name from No Man's Sky?
Yeah, one of the directors.
The head guy. I can't remember his name for some reason. Anyways, yeah.
I can't either.
I watched both those segments, and they're really good segments. They're really funny, really cool.
And tonight they're having the Zelda Orchestra.
Yeah, true. He's done a great job. I like what he's doing so far.
Right. So I haven't watched his new series because I'm so heartbroken over the end of the Colbert Report, but I'm going to jump on that because he's doing a fantastic job, and I'd just like to thank him from the geek community.
Absolutely.
Oh, and Tanner also says, there's also Conan and his Conan Play Games. It's absolutely great. That's true. Conan does a great job.
Yeah, he does. Really, really funny. I love those segments, those videos he puts out there. All right, so that wraps up episode 8 of the Geeks by Night Gamescast. Thank you guys for tuning in to the live stream at twitch.tv/geeksbynight. As usual, this will be edited right afterwards and be posted everywhere. So if you want to subscribe to any of our podcast services, you can find the links in the description. And if you want to email us with any suggestions or any questions for the podcast, or if you want to be a guest on a future episode of the podcast, you can email us at contact@geeksbynight.com. This podcast goes live every Thursday night at around 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time or 7:30 Eastern. Lou, that's how it works. That's how time works. And it just gets lost in the Mountaineer time. You can follow our Twitter account at Nightly Geeks, and then find us on Facebook at Geeks by Night. And then we're all on Twitter. I am at Osborne_2009. Lou is...
This is a little different. Sorry, I can't just do the same one because I switched it up. I'm going with the whole themed thing, and Halloween's coming up, so I put a little, I made my thing a little ghostified, but I'm not Lou Cantaldi this week. Don't look me up under Lou Cantaldi. I am Boo Cantaldi. B-O-O Cantaldi. Put it in the thing.
Austin, where can they find you?
I'm on Twitter at Austindo140. So it's Austin with the O at the end and 140.
Right on. Is there a story behind that?
Nintendo mixed with Austin.
What about the 140? Just a random number?
Yeah, some random number. Yeah.
Okay.
I have been rolling with that for about 10 years. I don't know why, but I have been, so.
Fair enough. All right. Thank you for joining us as our first guest.
No problem.
Super awesome to have somebody on. We will definitely look into getting you back on in the future. Have you as a repeat guest. Maybe you'll be our first ever repeat guest. We'll see. Turns out he just becomes like a full-time member. He's on every week. All right. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.